Good morning, everybody. We're on Daf Samaches Amud Aleph, Maseches Gittin in the Bavli. Shlomo HaMelech in Gehelis is describing his great wealth. He says, "Kanasili." The pasuk starts, "Kanasili gam kesef azov v'skulas malachim v'amdinas isisili v'amdinas." He gathered silver and gold and everything that's precious for kings and the countries. And then he says, "Asisili shada b'shadas." I've had male and woman singers. It's very interesting. I guess they didn't have the gzera of kol v'isha erva. He describes how he had woman singers in his court. Shlomo HaMelech. I suppose people were on a higher level back then. I don't know. Shida v'shidos. Shida v'shidos. That's the end of the pasuk. So the Gemara explains. Shodim v'shodos elu mini zemer. Shodim v'shodos are like different types of music, male and female singers. What are tanugos? Like pleasure, the pleasure of people. These are like bathhouses, pools and bathhouses. So Shlomo HaMelech had it all. Shida v'shidos, hocha targimu shida v'shitzin. In Bavli they say shida v'shitzin, which is a shade, a demon, a male and female demon. He had control over the male and female demons. B'marava amni shidza. In Eretz Yisrael, they didn't touch it as demons. They touched it as a chariot for women and very important people. He had these types of chariots. Okay. There's 300 demons in Shichin, in a certain place. I don't know exactly how the demons look like. Some people say the head of all of them, the master of all of them, I don't know how they are. Omer Mar, the Gemara goes back and says, Omer Mar, in Bavli, it's a male and female demons. What did Shlomo HaMelech have to do? What did he need with demons? That sounds like demons are forces of destruction. What would Shlomo HaMelech want to be involved with such things? As a matter of fact, that's what brought him down. Ashmanai really brought Shlomo HaMelech down. So he was dealing with fire.
See, got it.
The Gemara explains, why did he need demons? Because very interesting medrash, I guess, story. The Dichsiv, it says in the pasuk, when you build the base of Mikdash, it has to be complete stones. So, a big problem. You're not allowed to use knives. He told the Chum, what should I do?
Shamir, right?
And the Bayis Sheni, they didn't have the shamir, so they just cut the stones off site. But he had the option of the shamir, so they said you should get the shamir. You should get a hold of the shamir. Not allowed to use metal. It has to be like a whole stone. It can't be cut. And this is a pasuk in Malachim Aleph. There is no iron that was heard in the house. Okay. So he said to the Chacham, they told him, if there's a shamir worm that Moshe Rabbeinu brought for the ephod stones. Rashi says it was created from the Sheshes and Bereshis. We know from the Pirkei Avos that it was created by Ben Hashmashis, by dusk. And nothing hard could withstand it. Only soft things could withstand it, but not hard things. It's very interesting. That's like a lesson in Avodas Hashem, Sometimes the harder the thing, the easier it is to break. The Avnei Ephod, says Rashi, in Maseches it says these stones, you can't cut them with ink, because there's pituchei chosim. You can't use an ismal, you can't use a cut, because it says they shouldn't be missing anything. He would color it with ink and then show the shamir, and they would crack, I guess, perfectly. It was like a miraculous worm. It's interesting that it was a worm. I guess the Eibusher maybe wanted to show that, I'm sure the Mefarshim talked about it, wanted to show that there's a special dafka, a lowly creature like a worm has a special koyach, maybe. So Omer Luei Cheish Dakach, he said, where am I going to find it? It's very interesting that even though Moshe Rabbeinu had it, you would think that they would keep it at the base of Mikdash, they would keep the worm somewhere. But no, for some reason the Yidden lost control of it. It doesn't say in the story how it happened. Because if Moshe Rabbeinu had it, what happened to it? Somehow the demons got a hold of it. Maybe when Moshe
Rabbeinu had what?
He had this worm. He had the worm. But what did he do with it? Why didn't he save it?
Uh-huh.
Yeah. Why didn't he save it? Didn't save it for some reason. The demons got a hold of it. So Shlomo Melech didn't know where it was. He told the Chachamim, where is it? He said, let's bring demons and we'll tie them up and we'll cause them to suffer. Maybe they'll know and they're going to tell you. So the demons might know. So the Gemara says, they press them into each other. They caused them suffering. I don't know why they had to have, I guess, male and female, because maybe the male knows, maybe the female knows. So together they caused them suffering. They said, we don't know. Maybe the king of them all, of us all, the king, Ashmadai, maybe he'll know. They asked him, where is he? They told him, Shlomo Melech, he's in a certain mountain. Har Pliny. Karyale Biro. He has a burr, he has a pit that he dug for himself. Umayale Maya, and he fills it up with water. Michse Betinra, he covers it with a stone, V'chasme Begushpanke, and he seals it with a seal. Every day he goes up to Shemayim. V'gomer Mesifta D'Rikia. And he learns everything he learns in the Yeshiva Shamayla. So it seems like Ashmadai did have a teichen, like a spiritual teichen. Generally, we say mezikin or koyach of Hamashches, but it seems like he went to the Mesivta. I'm not sure. He was a spiritual being. The Nochas Ara, he came down to the land. The Gomar Mesivta Dara, then he learns the ways of the Mesivta Dara. He had a shaykhs. The demon has a shaykhs to both Shemayim and audits. And once he sayerle the gushpanke, then he checks the seal to make sure nobody touched his pit. Then he uncovers his son. He drinks, he covers it up, he seals it again, and he goes. So what he did was, Shlomo Melech sent his best man. He sent Benayo ben Yehoyada. We had him in Maseches Brachos that he talks about his great learning, his great koyach of limud Torah. He gave him a chain that had the name of Hashem on it. And he had a special ring that had the name of Hashem. The Givya and shears of wool, bales of like wool. And jugs of wine. So instead of touching the seal of Ashmadai, because then he would know right away if someone touched it, he dug a pit underneath. He drained out the water. He emptied out the water because he had a hole, and he's able to empty it out. He sealed up the holes with this wool, so that now he's going to put wine in it, and it's not going to drain. Says Rashi, he dug another pit from above. He poured the wine in. Vitaminu. And then he filled it up with earth so that Ashmadai wouldn't know that he had dug these two additional pits. So you should be able to tell. But anyway, Solik Yosef V'Ilona. And then he went and he sat in a tree. And he was watching from far. He also, when Ashmadai came, cited the Gushpanko. He checked his seal, Galia. And he realized that it was not touched. Ashkeche, or maybe he lifted up the stone. He realized it wasn't touched. He lifted up the stone. Ashkeche Chamra. He found that there was wine there. And it's not, Omar Ksiv, he says, let's ayayin. The wine causes leitzonis. Anybody who drinks a lot of wine in Sheikhar is not going to be wise. It says, it's going to take away your heart. Znus, immorality, yain and tiresh, yikach leiv, takes a man's heart away. So it's not good for me to drink wine. He didn't want to drink wine. He only wanted to drink water. So this is like ancient advice. We already know this from
Did
Noah.
these demons disguise themselves as humans?
Yeah.
Uh-huh.
Lo yishti. He says, I'm not going to drink it. Tosfos actually points out, wasn't written yet. He said they still knew it in advance. They knew the psukim in advance. There's another Tosfos that's very interesting. Tosfos says, why didn't they just ask the Urim V'Tumim? They didn't ask the Urim V'Tumim. They had to ask demons because you're not supposed to if you're able to ask something else. Yeah. Gemara goes on. So what happened? He got thirsty. Now it's interesting. Why didn't he just find another source of water? I don't know. Kitzachi, Lo Yish didn't want to drink. Kitzachi, when he became thirsty, Leisagile, he wasn't able to hold himself back. Ishti, Rove, Vigone. He drank it, he became drunk, and he fell asleep. Nochis, Ben Yoel came down from the tree. Also, Shadar B'Shishulta, Sasmi. He put on the chains on him, and then he sealed the chains around his neck. Says Rashi, so that his head couldn't come out. I guess he tied him to something. What did he tie the chains to? I'm not sure. It was around his neck. So the Gemara says, Ki Isar have become Mefarzel. He was trying to break the chains, and Ashmedai was a powerful human being. He wasn't a human being. He was a powerful being. Ben Yoel said, the name of your master is on you, which means that the name of Hashem is on these chains. So he had him captured because there was chains of Hashem's name around him. So he had him captured. So he took him and they were traveling. He came to a palm tree, he rubbed against it and he threw it down. He got to a house, he knocked it down also. He's the power of destruction. He came to a tiny hut of a widow. Nafka, she came out. She begged him not to rub against. I guess she had seen what he had done to the other place. He moved to the other side. Isbar Begarmana, one of his bones broke. We're now in Maseches 68b. And that's why it says in the pasuk that soft words could break a bone. Dafke through Loshen Rako, that's why my bone was broken. The big, huge house, the big, massive palm tree, that couldn't stop him. The Loshen Rako of the Armalos is what broke his bone. Chose Samuel, he saw a blind person. He saw a blind person that was wandering, and he put him back on the right road. He saw that there was Achnasas Kala and they were Marbin B'Simcha Bocha, he cried.
You skipped the line.
Oh.
Revaya.
Oh, he saw a drunk person wandering also who's lost, and he got him back on the right road. He saw that people were Misameach Kala, Bocha, he cried. He saw there was a person who told the shoemaker, make me shoes that will last for 7 years. They don't make them like they used to. In those days, the shoes would last. He smiled. He saw there was a magician that was doing magic. He smiled again. Okay. It's a long story. We'll do maybe another half page. When he got to Shloim HaMelech, they didn't bring him in front of Shloim HaMelech for the first 3 days. The first day he told his captors, why isn't the king coming? So they said, he drank a lot, so he's sleeping or whatever. He's not up to it. He took a brick and he put it on the other one. Also, they told Shlomo what he had done. This is what Shlomo said. This is what he's telling you. That you should give him more to drink. The next day he asked again, why isn't the king coming? He ate too much. He took one brick from the other, he put it on the ground. Also, they told Shlomo what he had done. You should take, don't feed him a lot, feed him a little. After 3 days, he came in front of him. He took a stick and he measured 4 amas and he put it in front of him. And he threw it in front of Shlomo Melech. This is Ashmedai. He measured 4 amas and he threw the stick in front of Shlomo Melech. He told him, let us see. When you're going to die, all you can have is your 4 amas, where your body's going to be buried. That's what Ashmedai told Shlomo Melech. Now you've conquered the entire world. You haven't been satisfied until you also conquered me. What like, do you realize eventually you're going to end up in the earth like everybody else? I don't need anything from you. I want to build the base of Mikdash and I need the Shamir worm. He said, I don't have the Shamir worm. The Sora the Yama Mosile. It was given to the Sar HaYam. Maybe the Abishar gave it to Moshe and he took it from Moshe. I don't know. And he gave it to the wild rooster who has an oath. What does he do with the Shamir? He takes it to a mountain that hasn't been settled. He puts it on the rocks on the mountain. And it splits open. Says Rashi, it's like a little charitz, a little ditch. He takes and he brings bizroni, meiloni seeds from trees. They have a yishuv, and then it becomes settled. And that's how we live. Nagar Turo, both Kukina de Tarnagoyla Bora, the East slave. Both Kukina de Tarnagoyla Bora. Isle Bene Vachafui Lekine Zugisa Chivri. Oh. Sorry, Vahinu de Mina Nagar Turo. That's what we call the Nagar Turo, that when he would cause this to the mountain, that he would split it open and he would plant it, so on and so forth. So what they did was they found the nest of the Tarnagoy Labara, the Isle Beni, that had children in it. The Chafuya Lekine Zugiso Chivrisi. He covered it with white glass. Now, the only way he would be able to get in, I guess they sealed it with white glass. He wouldn't be able to remove it. He also he wanted to come in B'lei Motzi. Wasn't able to. He put the Shamir worm on top of this glass. Rama Beikola, he yelled, Shadye And then he flew away. He chased him away. Shakle. He took the shamir. So this wild rooster killed himself because he had made the oath, and the shamir was taken away from him. Okay, so now Benayo wants to know the reasons for what had happened on their journey. Benayo told Ashmandai, my time off. What's the reason? What's the reason when you saw this blind person that was wandering, you put him back on the proper path? Why did you help him? He said they were announcing about this blind person in the Shemayim, that he is a tzaddik. Anyone who's going to help him is going to be zeicha to the world to come. So we see even demons are going to have the world to come. They have zchuyos. And Gemara asks, when you saw the drunk person wandering, you also helped him. He said they were announcing about him in Shemayim, the Rosh Gomer, that he's a complete Rosh. Do something good for him in this world so that he'll lose the world to come. My time, why did you cry when you saw the Simchas Chasam Kala? Her husband's going to die in 30 days, and she's going to have to wait to do Yibum because he has a young brother who's just born until he becomes a Gadol for 13 years. So she's getting married, but within 30 days, she's going to be a widow, and she's going to have no recourse but to wait for 13 years. Why did you smile when you saw there was a person who told the shoemaker to make me shoes for 7 years? Boy, he doesn't even have 7 days to live. He's making shoes for 7 years. Why did you smile when you saw the magician doing magic? He says he's sitting on a treasure house, a huge treasure. Let him use his magic to find the treasure. Okay, I think we'll actually maybe stop here until tomorrow. I'm saying we'll do Yerushalmi now. We're in the middle of Maseches Amud Beis. We're up to the K. What happened to Ashmandai afterwards? It's like a new part of the story.
Okay, let's see if we can find it. Oh, you have enough charge. More than enough. Give us a minute to find it on the Sefaria.
What the opposite of it?
Yerushalmi. It's on Daf. Oh, we did this already. I have my bookmark in the wrong place. Daf Lamed Aleph. On the top, Halacha Ches. Perek Chamishi Halacha Ches.
Perek Chamishi. Ches or Tes? Ches or what is it? 8 or 9?
Halacha Ches.
Tes. Oh, that's
Ches.
9.
Ches. 8.
Oh, Ches. Okay. So where does it's a Mishnah, right?
Yeah.
Amatameh.
What?
Amatameh is how it starts, right?
No, you're in the wrong. Perek Chamishi?
I think so. Oh, yes, I'm in the right parak, but the wrong.
Hamatame, yeah, that was earlier.
Yes.
I think that might be in Mishnah Hey, Halacha Hey. Yeah, Halacha Hey. We're on Halacha Ches.
Yes, I understand. Have to scroll a little bit to find it. Cheresh, Romez.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah, let's start. He can make signs and get signs in order for what he's doing to be a Kenyan. And if we're talking about movable items, he can even make signs with his mouth. Young kids, when it comes to movable items, they're able to make a sale. So the Yerushalmi says, he's allowed to rent and rent out, but he can't sell, according to this opinion. According to the Pnei Moshe, he could hire workers or rent himself out to others. Apiotis pario, young children. For them to live. Even though Rabbi Yossi, when it comes to Mitzia, for example, they find something, he lets them keep it. Here, if you're giving your child to the Umnun to learn a trade, that they find something, it goes to the person who's teaching them because Chayi Habrius, in order for them to be able to learn by people for the sake of their life. So this is the relevance to what we're saying before.
I think I'll use this now.
It's a carbonado. We're up to Halacha Tes.
I'm sorry. It means if they're learning by somebody and they find something while they're learning by somebody, the master gets to keep it, or
The master gets to keep it. I'm sorry for what. Yeah.
Who gets to keep it?
The master.
Okay.
Otherwise, they're not going to want to take them. It's not going to be. That's a carbonado. Even though the Pnei Moshe has a different explanation. Okay, says the next Mishnah, Halacha Tes. These are the things that they've said because of Darchei Shalom. First Kohen, then Levi, then Yisrael because of Darchei Shalom. If you already put the Erev in a certain house, you keep on putting it there because of Darchei Shalom. If you have a stream and there's a well or a pit which is near that stream, that's the one that gets filled up first because of Darchei Shalom. If a Chedesh and a Kotten finds something, then it's stealing to take from them because of Darchei Shalom. Rabbi Yossi says it's Gezel midrabana. If you catch something in your net, animals and birds and fish, it's Gezel because of Darchei Shalom. It's full Gezel. If an ani is on top of the olive tree but falls down, it's Gezel. You can't take it. It's his. It's Gezel because of Darchei Shalom. Rabbi Yossi says it's complete Gezel midrabanan. We don't protest if the poor goyim also take lekachon peh because of Darchei Shalom, even though it's supposed to go to Yidden. If they take it, you don't protest. We're in the Gemara. According to the Rashbi, it's not just Darchei Shalom. It's midaraisa that the kohen goes first. And we have this in the Bavli also. The shita. The Tanu Rishim Bayichoy Vayichtav Moshe Sasefer Dozavitna Lekene Bnei Levi Vachakachol Koziknei. So it says he took the 30, wrote it.
Is there a particular pasuk that says the Kohen goes first?
Yeah, he brings a pasuk. It says that Moshe Rabbeinu wrote the Torah. He gave it to the Kohanim, the sons of the Leviim, and Kol Ziknei Yisrael. And from here he learns Kohanim, Leviim, and then Yisrael. Now we had another pasuk in the Bavli from V'Kidashtoi that he should be reached on the whole davar shebekdusha. The kohen should be reached at the first when it comes to the first to anything in kedusha. Milsa the Rishon Levi Shuma Devrein. According to Rishon Levi, however, it's midrabanan. This that a kohen goes before Levi is midrabanan. He says, I never said the bracha before the kohen, and I never let a yid say a bracha before me because he was a Levi. Says Korbaneda, if it was midaraisa, then what's the chiddush? Obviously, he's following the deraisa. It's because it was a minhag. So he's saying I always followed the minhag. According to Rab Chanina, also it's midarabanan. The Mar Rab Chanina, we saw Kohen Rishon play Darchei Shalom. This is a chiddush. Very interesting. If you have a city full of kohenim, then a Yisrael should read first because of Darkei Shalom. Let me see if the Safari.
What's the reason?
Because what's the reason? I mean, I think because Adarab, now he's the only one who's not. I think the reason is because he's the only one who's not a Kohen. So Adarab, it makes sense for him to read first. I don't know why, but my Safari is not loading. I think it's not working. I wanted to look up the halacha. Because it seems that is the halacha. I'm going to try to look up. Maybe I'll try to remember to look it up tomorrow. He guy's not here. Rabacha, but if you have a city that's full of kohenim, they all do berachas kohenim. Who is it for? To all their brethren, for the whole world that can't come to shul. Who's going to answer all names? Hanoshim v'aktan, women and children.
Well, why not the man? Why don't the men answer our maid?
They're all giving the bracha.
They're what?
The whole city's kohenim. They're all on the duchen. They're all on the platform.
Oh, yes.
Now it's interesting. I don't know why you can't say they're giving the bracha to their wives. Why do you have to say giving the bracha to Achim Shebetzaf Madar? There are women in the shul. I'm not sure. The people behind the kohenim are not part of the bracha. Is a very powerful statement. Those who are standing in front of the kohenim, even if you have a wall of iron, it won't block them. If let's say they're on the side, so we can learn it from the din of Hazon. Trying to do Hazon in front of you, and he did it behind you, and behind you and did it in front of you, so it's possible. But if you had in mind to do it in front and it went to the sides, it's kosher. So we see the sides is like in front. So as long as you're in front of the kohenim, even to the side, that's fine. That's what the meaning is. This is what they say. If you're standing on the sides, it's part of the bracha. The chazan should be a yid. Carbonated says Emer Lahem. You have to tell them the makra should not be like them. The chazan should not be a kohen. If there's one kohen, you say kohen. L'shnayim ever kohenim. To two, you say kohenim. But if Chuna says even to one, you say kohenim shene kohen l'shevet. You're calling for in general to the kohenim. Our meaning is we say it, but you don't say it out loud. You only say it out loud when there's two people. Don't think, oh, this kohen, he's a big Russia, so how is he blessing us? It's really coming from the Eibush. So that's like the end, the siyum of that concept. You do the Eidav in the old house. We're talking about if it's the same people. The people living in the bias. The Maseches says even if they're living in a part of the house, you do it in that part of the house. I think that's a little dachuk. I'm not sure. I like the carbonate. The same people are living there now. We're living there before. We're living there before. It's the same people. Because if you're going to move it from them, people will say, "Oh, they're not doing the Eidav anymore. They don't care about the Eidav." The water has to actually be going over it. Even if it's on the side. Someone who's further away from the stream, from the top of the river, but it's easy for him to drink, they come first before someone who's close, and it's hard for them to divert the water. According to now we said, this is mamish. This has to do with being played through your Maisa Sheni without adding a fifth. It's interesting how sometimes Yerushalmi just brings in a case which it's not. It's hard to find the connection. So we're talking about you want to be played there, but if you yourself are played there, you're gonna have to add 20%. So what you do is you're played al yaday through your son, and you're through your children who are gedolim, and through your children and your evident your shifcha ivri. Question is, how is it possible to have an evident shifcha ivris? The moment she becomes a gedolah, she becomes older, she goes free. So it means that she's a ketana. And how could a ketana be mezakah? How could she be mezakah for you? How could she help you out? How could she have a kinyan? So according to the Chachamim in Bavli, it makes sense. It's interesting here when we say Rabbanah D'Tam, it's Bavli. We give him a good thing, a nut, and he throws it. But a rock, and he takes it. Somebody, he doesn't have das. You can't give anything to him. It's like putting in the garbage. But if he's able to differentiate between the eggs, he takes the eggs and he throws the rock. If you steal from him, it's a theft because of Darkei Shalom. He has the das. Imamish has das. He's able to take the eggs and the tzur, save it, and bring it afterwards. What's relevant to bring? Then it's gezel gomer. He needs zeicha for himself, but not for someone else. He's not on that level. Vuna says, just like he can be zeicha for himself, he can be zeicha for others. So I guess according to Rav Huna, it makes sense how you can have Maisa Sheni through your shifcha. We're talking about if she has das, she can be zeicha for you and for herself and for others. So she's able to help you out. She first redeems it for herself, then she gives it to you. Everyone agrees that they can't give gifts. Gittin ish matana. Ish matana vein matanas kot matnas. Ish matana vein matnas kot matana. Only a gadol could give a matana, but not a katan. Divrei chachamim. These are the words of chacham. According to the Yehuda ben Pozi, the other way around. Divrei chacham Rav Yehuda ben Pozi. Rav Yehuda ben Pozi and Rabbi Yechanan argue with Rav Huna, and they say it's not a gezel gomer until you have two sadas. It's always going to be Darkei Shalom, which is the shit of the chachamim. Rabbi Yossi holds as gezel gomer. Chachamim hold Darkei Shalom until you have shtei sadas, until he reaches puberty. This machlokes is if you could take from him. You take from him. If you're going to take it back from the Goslin. So according to Rabbi Yossi, it's Gezel Gomer, you're going to take it back from the Goslin. According to the Chachamim, you're not going to take it back from him, but it's not right. You're not supposed to do it because of Darkei Shalom. But let's say let's say he was makdish something, he sanctified something, or he has a taina, do you have to make a shavua? Everybody, you're going to have to be a gadol. Now, Rabbi Yechanan, who holds according to Rabbi Yochanan, however, who holds that a katan is not zoich until he has base audis. The shaila is how are you able to get help from the shifcha? We're going to have to say that it's a special din with trumas and meisers. That's what the Carbonate says. So the question is, Rabbi Yossi boy mi'ataf la'atzma he shouldn't even be able to be zeicha for himself. Shenemar. Isha rayeyu ad she'eker rayeyu. It says Isha rayeyu. You have to be, just to be mekabel matana, you have to be a gadol. So Rav Huna says, "Hey, matnase matana." L'chayda, you shouldn't even be able to be mekabel. When we're talking about matanis, you shouldn't be able to be mekabel the matana. So even according to Rav Huna, it's a question. Rav Yosi bar Bain b'Shem Shmuel bar Rav Yitzchak v'Yordu lo b'Shitas hapoitos titnin taman hapoitos mekhan mekach v'mekar memkar b'mitaltalin. Just like we said that midrabanon, you're allowed to have sales and acquisitions. So too, when it comes to shitufei mavus, in the case of shituf, which is midrabanan, to make the eruv, you're able to. Well, tninan tamon avalina mazakalan le'yodei b'nei vita k'tan le'yodei avder shuflas k'tanim t'shiyadin kyodei. So the chayda we have another. It says clearly that you're not allowed to use a katan. So how can you say that you could use a shifcha who's a ktano? When they say you can't use your b'nai katan, we're talking about if he doesn't have das. But the shifcha has das. She's able to be matzniya. She's able to keep it, the egos. Okay, the Gemara goes on. It's only in the big ones, the big nets. But the small ones have a toich. Says Rash, says the big ones, it's not a full trapping, so it's not gezel gomer. The small ones, it's mamish, they're fully trapped, so it's gezel gomer. If you take the animal from this guy's net. Only the ones on the ground. But what he took in his hand, even the chacham are going to admit that it belongs to the ani. We don't protest by the poor goyim if they take lekashich and pay because of darker shalom. Tani, who was taught, if you have a yid, this is actually a very powerful brisa. If you have a city with goyim and yidin in it, Mamidin Gaboy Goyim v'Gaboy Yisrael. You have Gaboyim both who are non-Jewish and Jewish. And the Goyim Mishal Goyim Mishal Yisrael, and you take from both the non-Jews and the Jews. Umefarnasin and Goyim and Yisrael, and you give to both of them. Umevakrin Choyle Goyim v'Choyle Yisrael, and you visit both the sick of the Goyim and the sick of the Yidden. The Koivrin and Mesa Goyim Mesa Yisrael, and you bury the non-Jewish dead and the Jewish dead, obviously, in each of them their own cemetery. Umenachamin and you comfort the mourners of the goyim and the yidin. And you also wash their clothing. According to the Avodah Zarah, the Gemara of Avodah Zarah says, if you found them like on the side, you help them. The Gemara has an interesting story. What about the day when they have a day of Avodah Zarah, the day of their party? Can you do business with them, or is there a problem with because of their Avodah Zarah? He wanted to say it was mutter because of Dark Shalom. Baba said, the Reb Chia said, you're not allowed to on the Yom Mishra Shalhem. Not for Baba telling me this Bryce of Rav Chia, we would have come close to being matter the Avodah Zarah Alain. It's a very strong statement. Baruch Hashem that He separated us from them. We have to make us like a gather, says Bnei Moshe, like a fence. You shouldn't get too close, But this is a very powerful brayso that shows how much you're supposed to take care of the poor, the goyim, and so on, if they're in your city because of Darkei Shalom. What about because you just should take care of them? I don't know. I guess that already because if they have a desire, it's a different story. All right, I think maybe we'll stop here.
So we're still in 9, right? We're not at Yud.
We're up to Yud. We're up to Yud. We're going to finish the parak tomorrow in the Yerushalmi.
Yes.
And then we'll start.
Thank you, David. We'll see you tomorrow.
Thank you.
Rest up.